Hari Hari. So today I begin this project of giving lectures on the Bhagavad Gita, one verse a day, every day, for the next, 2.5 years with the 700 verses from the Bhagavad Gita. So every day I'll upload a miniature lecture between 5 and 10 minutes. Let's face it, we all have careers, families, and such things like that to take care of. So I'll upload every day, every morning, a 5-10 minute lecture on the Bhagavad Gita. So we'll start obviously from chapter 1, text number 1. Dhritarashtra vacha dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsava mama kapandavas chaiva kimakurvata Sanjaya. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? This seems like a very, very simple question Dhritarashtra is asking. We know Dhritarashtra, blind, he's not at the battlefield, he doesn't know what's going on. He's worried about his sons, the sons of his brother, going to war. He's not there, he can't see. He asks Sanjaya, what's going on? Sanjaya has divine sight given by his spiritual master, Vyasadeva. So Sanjaya he knows what's going on in Kurukshetra. But that's the simplistic understanding of this verse. What we can learn from it, what the acharyas, the commentators, reveal is Dhritarashtra's anxiety. He takes careful note to ask the question regarding the influences Dharmakshetra, this place of pilgrimage, is going to have on the battle. He doesn't say, what are my sons doing? How is the war going? He says, what's happening at the place of pilgrimage? What's happening at Dharmakshetra? The concern Dhritarashtra has, which is very, very significant for us to take a lesson from. Dharmakshetra, this place of pilgrimage, dharma means, I'm not going to go into a detailed exposition on dharma because, as we know, dharma is very nuanced. But basically, dharma means virtue, morality, spirituality even. Religiosity in some contexts. Dhritarashtra is worried, what is this place of pilgrimage that is surcharged with dharma, principles of virtue, religiosity, spirituality, and so on? What is this place that is infused with this energy? What is the effect it's going to have on the battlefield? Is it going to have an advantageous effect for my sons, or a disadvantageous effect? In other words, Dhritarashtra is worried that, or he's hoping, he's worried and he has a hope. His hope is that the spiritual nature, the spiritual energy that has infused this place of dharma, where the battle is taking place, he's hoping that this energy will uplift, if you will, in his own estimation, will impel, is a better word to use, will impel Yudhishthira to basically drop his weapons and take sannyas, walk away from the battlefield, leave the entire kingdom to Duryodhana, and be done with it and go off to the Himalayas and do meditation. That's what Dhritarashtra is hoping. His fear, however, is that having the battle in a place of pilgrimage, in a place of virtue, morality, spirituality, so on and so forth, his worry is that that influence is going to have a disadvantageous effect on his son's outcome, on his son's execution of the battle. In other words, the Pandavas will win, because the Pandavas are virtuous. The Pandavas are on the side of Dharma. Dhritarashtra has no misunderstanding. He is under no illusion as to the quality of the character of his sons. He knows that, put simply, his sons are the bad guys. He has no issue with understanding his sons. He has a bond and a love that he cannot see past that. That's another issue. But he knows his sons are adharmic. So he's worried about this effect. Now this is, on the face of it, understandable. But what's really remarkable is that Dhritarashtra knows that space holds, contains, and has the ability to influence what happens in that space. a space can be advantageous or disadvantageous to what's happening in that space. This is the lesson of this verse. What is the space? How is the space in which we live going to affect how we live? What is the effect of a space in where we work, where we eat, where we sleep, where we raise our family? What is the effect of that space going to have on the outcomes or on the nature of the things that we do in those spaces? That's the issue. That's the lesson of this verse. We have to transform our spaces, be it at work, at home, at the university, wherever it may be, our car. Transform spaces into these miniature places of pilgrimage. In other words, make sure our spaces are infused with the energy that is uplifting to our consciousness. Make sure our spaces are advantageous to what we're trying to do as devotees, as Vaishnavas. We do this in several ways. Visually, let's make sure our place is clean. Clean, I don't want to give you a lecture on this. I'm just trying to make a point. Clean, tidy, visually appealing in terms of how things are set up in our home, especially at home. We have very little, unless we own our own business, we have very little say about how things are set up at work or at the university or wherever else we inhabit. But particularly at home, tidy, clean, neat, we can find the things we need to find. That includes the basement and the attic. That closet that we don't want to explore, right? Cram everything into the closet, lock the door, barricade it. No, the closet as well. Then we can use art. Prabhupada's pictures. Prabhupada used to say that for the artwork that his artists used to paint for the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, he used to call these paintings windows into the spiritual world. We should have as much art around in our home that is as uplifting as possible. Now, I am lucky. I'm married to an artist. And we go to museums and we see all types of art, much of it very uplifting. Of course, there is that art that you look at it and it's like, in fact, it makes you want to tear your hair out and run out, go on a shooting spree. But art has an effect on our consciousness. So being married to an artist, and I hear it, of course, from my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, have artwork that is conducive to uplifting of the consciousness. Now being married to an artist, I'm really appreciating that because the home is visually appealing in that manner as well. The art that she's able to pick out to lift the consciousness of both of us, that all of us that live here. Art, make sure we have art that is uplifting. That'll help transform the space into a place of pilgrimage that is uplifting for our consciousness. Then sound. Sound is very, very important. The music we listen to, I was just actually on Facebook, no less, and some friends of mine from school were asking, we used to, in Gurukul, we grew up listening to Shanai in Mayapur. Very, very uplifting. Having sounds that are uplifting to the consciousness. Very, very powerful. Now, of course, those who have teenagers at home, they bring their music in, and of course, we want them to grow as devotees and Vaishnavas, but teenagers being what they are, they bring their music and they turn the home into a nightclub. But still, as much as possible, have the space infused with music that is uplifting to our consciousness. So that sights, that sound, and even smells. I mean, I'm not such a fan of so much incense and scents, but at least a smell of cleanliness, at least a smell of fresh air. You can beyond that and have smells of incense, various pleasing scents. If you have a good cook in the house, have the aroma of good sattvic food being cooked. These things create an atmosphere that is conducive to the upliftment of our consciousness. And then using that space for our chanting, for our sadhana, for our personal development. But if the entire home is like that, that is going to help uplift our consciousness as we engage in our daily activities, daily life. We are living on a platform that is as conducive as possible for, what does Prabhupada say, simple living and high thinking. So this is the lesson of this particular verse. The things we can take away from it is to transform our space. Make sure where we live is Dharma Kshetra. I'll end there. We've gone over time. And tomorrow we'll go into text number 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. Hari Hari.